Hello everyone, Tom from Team Exalted here, and today we've got the KOTE8 top 8 cut game between Keyfrogs and KIP. This is the captain's game, and Stronglink straight out with the ZYX Researcher, Tavalpo with a quick response, Amber Spy Mongrel and a Nox, and then Stronglink very quickly out with a Fanghouse Marmo Swarm Grovekeeper, and straight over to Tavalpo, who puts out a bunch of disc creatures, and then an unlocked gateway, wiping the board and ending his step. Stronglink quickly into Mars here with a Shockworm and a Harvester out, and then discards a Mars first, a Sample Collection and a Martian Hounds, and passes it over. And Tavalpo into Mars, Sky Booster Squadron, Plague Master, Fixed Finger, and passes over. And Stronglink into Logos, Brain Eater, Lab Work, and archiving a card here. Tavalpo is straight into Untamed and Grasping Vines to get rid of that Heart of the Forest. Plays out a Full Moon and another Grasping Vines for the Amber. And Stronglink into Logos, Memory Chip, Library of Babel, and Brain Eater to draw a card. And then Tavalpo into Dis, plays a Gold Key Imp with a Soul Keeper on, which is an odd move against a HotF deck. And plays out an Anguish, and then a Banish to archive the Shockworm. Stronglink into Logos here, using the Memory Chip to archive a card. It's the modus operandi for this deck. Library Bubble to draw, puts down a Pip, and kills that Anguish with a Brain Eater. Straight over to Tavalpo, who's into Mars, reaping with the Fixed Finger and getting stunned. Sky Boost Squadron back to hand, and then a Martian Generosity there, drawing 14 cards. Tavalpo really in a race here. So Hypnobeams over the Harvester, discards the Grommet, doesn't want to get stuck with that, and out comes a Beam Buckler, killing the Pip, and then another Sky Booster Squadron, and another Sky Booster Squadron. Big board coming up here, Agent Human, and he's going to reap with that Harvester at some point, plays a Think Drome and a Mind Warper and a Shockworm. Going to assume this is everything he's got in Mars here coming out, and then reaps with that Harvester. Stronglink into Logos. He's going to archive with that Memory Chip again, and pops down another Library of Babel, draws and just passes straight over. And Tavalpo is into Untamed with a Nepenthe Seed, a Fog Bank to stop Stronglink's no creatures to fight, but gets an Amber for it. And another Fog Bank. Pops down a Rushnora, a Dana, and then a Mimicry to copy Lab Work, so archiving something with that Mimicry. The Rushnora, the only hard artifact removal he has in this deck, so expect to see Stronglink not play any creatures here, and indeed into Logos with a Memory Chip, double Library of Babel, remote access to kill the Nepenthe Seed of his opponent and pull back a Sample Collect. Tavalpo straight into Dis with the Binding Irons, and then a Charette to capture that 3 Amber, and a Shula and a Dust Imp. That Charette could be useful if he can find a way to kill it to force Stronglink to forge a key, and finally reaping with that Gold Key Imp. Stronglink having a think, going into Logos again. We're going to see another archive from the Memory Chip, a couple of draws from the Library of Babel, and that's it, passes over to Tavalpo. Tavalpo forges that first key, goes into Untamed, pops out a Full Moon, plays a Nox, and a Fog Bank, Grasping Vines, returns all the Logos stuff actually, and pops down a Duskwitch. And Stronglink into Logos, puts down the 3 Logos artifacts and passes the turn. Tavalpo into Untamed, another Fog Bank, a Reaping without now to push his Amber position, and Mimicries again to archive another card. And it's over to Logos here for Stronglink, Memory Chip to archive, Library to draw 2, and that's it, just passes over. He's got to get his combo pieces into hand here. So Tavalpo into Dis, plays a Tesmal, does have that Witch on the board that makes it come into play ready, so reaps with it and pushes Stronglink into Untamed, and plays an Anguish and an Eater of the Dead, all of which will come into play ready. reaping out now with these things, getting his amber position up quite high. And what's he going to do with that? He purged the researcher. So Tvalpo on enough amber here to be in check and to forge, and has forced Stronglink out of Untamed, but does have the gold key imp on the board, so he's not going to forge himself. Stronglink into Mars and a sample collection here, and abducted the Tesmal and the Witch, so taking those tools away from Tvalpo, who is into an Untamed turn here. Grasping Vines the Logos stuff away and does a bunch of reaping. Stronglink into Logos and pops down those 3 artifacts again. We had a long pause here while Tvalpo was thinking about what to do. Goes into Mars, another Martian Generosity, so draws his entire deck into hand. Reaps with the Think Drone, archives the gold key imp with the Think Drone. Does a bunch more reaping of his Mars creatures here, laying out a bit of stun and pushing his amber position further. On 5 amber now, 6, after spending it all on that Generosity. And does the tricks with the Sky Booster Squadron, playing them both back out, but I don't see how he's going to get out of this here. And then Stronglink into Untamed, down comes the HotF, you shall not forge this turn, and that's all he does. And then over to Tvalpo. Really sticky situation here now. If Stronglink doesn't play any creatures for that Rust Nora to be able to get rid of that HotF, and so into Untamed for Tvalpo, grasping Vines to remove the HotF and a couple of the artifacts, and then Mimicries just to archive some stuff. And Stronglink just putting the Heart of the Forest straight back down. Tvalpo into Untamed, Nepenthe Seed, grasping Vines. He's going to bounce that HotF again, I guess, which he does. A couple of Fog Banks and a Full Moon. Now on 14 amber, but it's not helping him. Over to Stronglink. I imagine we're going to go Untamed and the HotF again, and that's it. Tvalpo into discarding a Soul Keeper and a Banish. Uses a Binding Irons. Discards an Unlock Gateway. Doesn't want to wipe that board. And over to Stronglink. What is he going to do here now? The HotF is already down, so I imagine it's going to be about collecting combo pieces. And into Logos we go with the Library of Babbles and the Memory Chip, and just passes it over. And Tvalpo there with the Grasping Vines again to bounce the HotF, a Fog Bank, a Full Moon. This is very repetitive here, and then passes it back over to Stronglink, who's into Untamed, and we have the HotF come back down. Tvalpo into Untamed, mimicking the lab work again to archive something. Now 4 cards in the archive. Uses the Nepenthe to return the Grasping Vines to hand. He's going to bounce that HotF and those Library of Babbles and passes it over to Stronglink, who's straight into Untamed and puts the HotF back down. I have the feeling this could go on all day. And Mars here for Tvalpo, a Generosity again. And reaps with a whole bunch of stuff. Ends the turn. Nope. Does the Sky Booster Squadron trick again. Such a big battle line here. And then ends the turn on 10 and passes it over. Stronglink into Logos. Again, just those 3 artifacts, and that'll do. Tvalpo into Untamed, Full Moon. Guessing we're going to see the Grasping Vines here again. Puts down a Nepenthe. Grasping Vines. Bounces the HotF. And then a couple of Fog Banks. And then a Mimicry again to archive something else. And Stronglink straight into Untamed and puts the HotF back down. Very back and forth predictable play here. And Grasping Vines to bounce the HotF, and that's it. And then Stronglink into Untamed and puts the HotF back down. It's a crazy game of ping pong here over that HotF that's not going to end well somewhere. And then Stronglink putting down a Nepenthe Seed. So Tvalpo into Untamed. Mimicry is a remote access to then use the Nepenthe Seed to return the Grasping Vines to his hand, which he plays and bounces the HotF. And Stronglink into Untamed and puts the HotF back down. Tvalpo into Untamed with a Fog Bank, and another Grasping Vines to bounce the HotF. And Strong Link here into Untamed, puts the HotF back down, and over we go to Tvalpo, who goes into Mars. Okay, this might be the last turn, says Tvalpo. Oh, interesting. I wonder what's going to happen here. Tvalpo reaping with the Mind Warper and the Shock Worm. It's on 21 Amber here. And archives the Charette, so pushes Strong Link up to 6 Amber. So he's going to forge that second key. But you've got to imagine that Strong Link has the combo pieces in hand that he needs here to forge that third and final key. And Tvalpo just reaping out, discarding Hypnobeam and Plague Master, doing the Sky Booster Squadron thing again. Got to think this is going to be over here now. And over we go to Strong Link, forges that second key, has 12 cards in hand, 4 in the archive, chooses Mars. Yep, key abduction for that final key. Good game to both players here. You've got to think that had Tvalpo not put down that gold key imp, he could well have taken this down, although I suspect Strong Link would have changed his play.